But the drivers are on the grid, and here we go. It is 5 red lights here in China. And as the game decides to wait, it is 5 red lights here in China, and it's lights out and away we go. And Mill does get a bit of a stinker start there, and Matt is really able to just, capitalize on that mistake by Mill. But Mill does fight it and goes to the inside and does reclaim that lead from the AlphaTauri, but the AlphaTauri is going to fight it back around the inside again. This is great racing here we're seeing, and they are wheel to wheel here. It's just going to be a matter of who's going to brake later. Is it going to be Mill? Mill is going to sneak it down the inside again, and I think he will have made that move stick as they go into sector 2. Yeah, Mill is a full car length ahead. That was some great positioning of the car from Mill there to be able to defend that position, but Matt does have a moment there and does ride the curb, which has allowed the Mercedes of CJM to just completely close up the gap. Comfortable out there. But Matt is very close behind him, and Matt is going to look for a move down into the hairpin and does take the inside. And Mill's going to fight it around the outside, and I think Matt may have had a little bit of contact there, but Miller is going to stay ahead as we head on to lap 2 now. Mill does re-overtake. I'm going to assume he's had to burn a little bit, or that's just a setup change. But the Mercedes just comes out of nowhere. But I think that the Mercedes had an instant. The Mercedes has been spun around. I think he was being a little too opportunistic around turn 1 and maybe had a gap close on him or something, which has just meant that he's unfortunately been put right to the back. But Abby does have a massive ERS advantage over Yi. Yi is on 40%, so they have having to be burning to keep the keep Abby behind. But Abby does look for a move to the inside. Well, it will be the inside when we come to the corner. And Abby, I do think, is a car length ahead, and he does make the move. He does. Can you call that pushing off? I think that might have been a slight push off there. He's just going to breeze past him if he gets a good exit here and uses the slipstream.
Yeah, I think
as well as DRS.
5Y has made a bit of a mistake on the exit there. Abby should get past with ease here.
Yes, as Kinnan does go to the right to defend off, but Abby is a full car length ahead before the corner, so I don't think there is much that 5Ys can do there.
It was a challenger, which he might, and I think with the pace he's showing right now, he could definitely consider himself one. But if he doesn't, his goal is to really outscore Bays consistently. And right now he is doing that, so...
Yeah, no, completely. I'm just following on board with Tycho and the Mercedes. Because they were... Well, I mean, the Mercedes was in the back of Tycho coming down the straight. But I think that he is going to look for a move. And the Mercedes does brake considerably later. And this camera angle is dodgy. The Mercedes does brake considerably later. And I think there was a slight pushing off there. And I think he does give the position back. Good sportsmanship here to see. It probably wasn't the correct strat call.
I was going to say that Fetch
and Fetch and
Dylan. Oh, that's...
Yeah, I was going to say. The Red Bull does slightly push Fetch off there. I mean, that you could argue forcing off track and gaining a position. So that might appear in the steward's room at some point. But obviously, any penalties that happen in the race in this race get applied to the main race. As Fetch does then take the position back from him pretty easily with DRS there. But yeah, I am going to run on board with Matt. As Matt, this is his final chance to just roar down the straight. And he does get the slipstream there. And is he going to look for a move? He does look for a late lunge, and he does get down the inside, but goes extremely wide, and Mill just does a very, very nice switchback there.
Really calm, composed.
Yeah, that was a really calm pivot. As Mill crosses the final corner and wins the China sprint race here. You know, albeit by small margins, but yeah, great race from Mill. Who takes home 10 championship points. Obviously not the only drivers that could really switch up this race, as the drivers line up on the grid now again, and it is lights out and away we go. And 5Ys actually gets a drive-through penalty, which is obviously not what he would have wanted, but Mill does remain out front and does get a much better start as the Ferrari of Abby does make his way up into P3. He's sneaking his way round the inside and does make up 2 positions. I mean, obviously, the AlphaTauri is going to look back to fight Avi as he wheel banging there, but I do think Avi got the better exit out of turn 1. And Avi is a full car length ahead of Matt. And so he does take that corner slightly slower, or Matt just took it too quick and does go into the back slightly. But there is a yellow flag. That is Dylan and Throne Globe. That's not what they would have wanted, but let's follow back on board with Millard. Millard does remain out front, but Avi is close on his tail in P2, only 4/10 of a second. Avi had a mega start there. Just being able to make up 2 positions, sneaking his way up the inside, as there is a Haas that goes slightly wide at the back there.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you could call that maybe overtaking off track,
on
but
soft as well. Interesting.
this is not a race that Kin and his
Oh, he's off.
particularly-
Him and Bays, I think.
Bays and Kin have a collision. Sorry, I was doing the telemetry. That is not what they would have wanted, but at the... Oh god, what have I done? There we are.
This Chase also got a
Mill,
penalty.
yeah, it's Mill from Avi. So obviously, Avi making up 2 positions on the start there. As I said, sneaking up the inside. It's a mega start from him. Quite horrific. CGM, he was burning at the exit of the corner, but he's no longer burning. I don't think he's going to look for a move on Fetch. He does have the... And he... Oh, wait, no, he does. So I couldn't see Fetch for a minute because the camera angle is awful. But no, he does look for a move around Fetch. He is going to stick it. And he does back out slightly. Sensible move going through that final corner. I know that you probably shouldn't make moves around that corner. But yeah, CGM sets faster lap obviously on that faster, softer tyre. But as the race is slightly calmed down now, what do you think of that start from Avi, Astro? It's
I
a pretty
think it
mega
was
start.
really impressive. I think that Mercedes could be dangerous at the start, but I do think his tyres will drop off soon.
Going to be too much of a threat. But
Like
can
Pink
you invite
might go
Throne
for a
Globe
move
back
down the
for me?
inside. Backed out.
Pink. Yeah, I was going to say, these camera angles are somewhat terrible. But yeah, no. It is, the soft runners obviously electing to start on the softs. You do need to make the most of them in the first few laps. And I do think that the Mercedes is making good use of them. He has made up a few positions, I believe. He's rocking the blue car with the green helmet. If he can really make up a move. But I do think there was a move going on there. There's a move between the Alfa Romeo and the AlphaTauri. And the Alfa Romeo of Pink does go for a move and does make the move stick into the hairpin. It's a very nice and clean move there, as Matt is going to try and look to get back round him. And Matt obviously will get the DRS going down this straight, and he is all over the back. So is Matt going to look to reclaim that position? But then behind him is Fetch. Fetch is also really close behind them. So it's going to go too wide into turn 1. With Pink still edging it out, and Matt just slamming the door shut on Fetch for making a move. But that is... Yeah, Pink almost got overtaken by Matt. But Matt is looking quick on those hard tyres now. Just really managing to close up the gap behind Pink. So I do think that Matt is gonna, or Pink I should say, is gonna be feeling threatened by Matt and Pink. So it'll be interesting to see if Pink decides to burn to defend him, or if Pink is just gonna wait. But Matt is looking for another move. First time failed. Now he's gonna make the same move again. Earlier into the corner, and does defend off and positions his car beautifully to defend off the Alfa Romeo of Pink. And Pink is now obviously going to get DRS as Matt had last lap. And he is going to look to come back at him, I'm sure, but I'm not sure if he is going to look for a move. As no, he hangs back and he's being patient, playing the long game. That's very fine margins. But Pink and Matt. Is Pink going to look to reclaim that position from Matt? Matt goes to the left-hand side to fend off an attack potentially from Pink. Pink hangs it back around the outside, and Fetch is right there with them. But Matt does come out, victorious in that attempt by Pink. But going up this DRS straight, this mini DRS straight, Pink is going to have a lot more speed with that DRS, as they are going to go side by side into turn 1, and Pink is a full car length ahead, but Matt is going to take a slightly tighter line to try and fend off that position, and Pink There is a slight bit of wheel banging there, but Pink does make the move stick. Pink is promoted back up into P3. And obviously this battling is just not going to help Matt with those hard tyres. Because the whole point of having the hard tyres is the fact you can run for longer. I think that the mediums are still faster than the hards at this current point. As Fetch gets in a very good exit out of that corner and just uses the slipstream of that car. Obviously Matt does get DRS as well, but I do think Fetch is probably going to look to brake later or burn slightly, and Fetch is going to brake later. They are wheel to wheel, and Fetch does try to go for a move but does not make the move stick. Very close. I mean, none of them are burning. It'll be interesting to see if they are burning.
They're on like
Abby,
exactly the same ERS as well.
Abby does go for a move.
Yeah.
He does outbrake himself. Abby massively outbrakes himself there, and does that just gives Mill a very good exit out of that corner, but also extends the gap between them.
That was quite a weird
Most
move from
importantly.
Abby. Like, he sort of didn't go for it. I don't know if it was desync on my screen, but on my screen he didn't go for it and then he went for it.
And just pull away from the other drivers. But Jace is going to come back at him. I'm not sure if Jace is going to go for a move. Abby goes to the left slightly to defend off, and I don't think Jace has the grip to be able to make a threatening move there.
Yeah, Chase went into neutral in that corner. If he just does that until lap 24, I'd imagine he'd be alright.
Yeah, but then Abby might do the inverse and take him in when his tyres are faster.
Maybe.
But these camera angles, Abby does look to try and fight it, but I think that the tyre advantage is just so great compared to those that he's just not going to be able to. As Mill bangs in a
Abby's gonna
faster
go
snap
back
on those soft tyres.
Down the inside.
But Abby is gonna fight him as Mill goes right into the back of Abby. I'm not sure if that was maybe lag or if Mill's now got damage. Mill might have damage from that. Is there any?
There's no visible damage.
It might be very minor then, but it looked like quite a hard shunt. I'm not sure if Abby maybe lifted a bit too much or he just took too much entry speed in, but that is not obviously going to be brilliant if Mill did get damage.
Pace that he's showing right now. In fact, he's 3 seconds ahead after overtaking him last lap. I just think
Yeah.
he's he can either do two things. He can either push really hard and build a big gap hoping it's enough for it to last, the gap to last until the end of the race, or
Sorry to interrupt you, but the Mercedes and the AlphaTauri of Matt are really going at it into sector 1. Obviously, Matt does have the slightly fresher tyres, and I think the grip levels of his slightly fresher tyres just enabled him to get out in front of Matt, just cruising out front. But I do think Matt is going to potentially look for a move on Abby.
I think he is.
As Matt comes down the straight, closes it up, and he does. He goes around, completely around Abby. I think he almost outbraked himself, but he just got it. And he does, I think, end up in front of Abby.
I think Abby's
This is
played
not
this
gonna
well,
be
though.
what
I
Abby-
still think Abby's played this well because he's not going to lose too much time if he gets Matt back on this straight. If he doesn't, then this is really going to cost him, I think.
I don't think he will.
Yeah.
It is still good pace to see the McLaren of Kinnan there. He's going to go for a move on the Ferrari, I think, potentially. No, he's not. He holds back. I thought he was going to go for a move. And Baze does lock up slightly.
I think
and that
Base's
does allow
confidence
the
has just
better
gone in this
traction.
race.
Yeah, the better grip and better traction of those soft tyres has just
Oh.
allowed. He did a drift around
So
that
Abby's
corner,
out of DRS.
Abby is now out of DRS of Matt. So those medium tyres, maybe hard medium, medium hard. I'm having a brain freeze, sorry. I think that starting on the mediums for Abby might have not been the best decision. I think starting on the hards would have been. And then being able to go on the faster tyre in the second stint, because it has appeared to pay off for Matt. Final lap going to go potentially for a move. Matt does have literally no ERS and he is flashing red. Is he going to run out of fuel before the final corner? But we are going to fall on board with the man who has done an absolutely incredible race, an incredible strategy. And as he rounds the final corners, he should be very, very, very happy with himself. as Mill comes around the corner, weaving on the straight in happiness as he wins the China Grand Prix in Division 3 to add 25 points to his championship, with Avi in P2 and Matt finishing off the podium in P3. Oh, that was an incredible strategy from the McLaren driver, which is obviously, as you said, going to aid their OCC battle. But as we watch some of the other drivers come round, Fetch actually gets Jace on penalties and he comes home in P6 with Dylan just behind Fetch in P7 and Jace in P8.